Thank you for calling the Tom the Treeman Show. This is Kat. Who am I speaking with?
This is Bryan Kellan. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome Bryan Kellan to the Tom the Treeman Show. Bryan, welcome to the Tom Treeman Show. It's great talking to you.
Thanks very much, Kat. Thanks for having me.
Hey, so you're a comedian, and we hear you're one of the last comics standing?
I was one of those guys, one of the last comic things, what they call me, I guess.
And so that was back in 2003, right?
No, actually, I just did it this last season.
Oh.
I was on it a long time ago, and then they had me back for this last season.
Oh, okay, cool. So what were you?
Yeah.
So did you have a few projects that you worked on in between, or?
Yeah, actually, my main job in the last, 11 years now, I've been George Lopez's opening act. So that's a pretty cool gig, and very grateful for that one.
Oh, that's got to be fun. You get to travel around.
Yeah. He's quite a guy. It's funny. He just it's such a sweet gig. I mean, George fills the arenas or theaters or whatever it is, and I just get to go on in front of him, and he does all the heavy lifting, and I just get to do 30 minutes. It's a lot of fun.
Hey, not bad, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. Once you get over the fact that the crowd is actually watching a very white comedian in a suit in front of them, then it's all good.
It's a little bit different than what they were expecting, huh?
Yeah, I'm like the last thing they're expecting when I walk on the stage, and it's so funny. They don't really announce like they drop the lights and people go crazy,
and they're thinking, oh, they're expecting George Lopez, and they see you.
It is crazy. Like I said, they have no idea some goofy white guy is going to show up in a suit. And I walk out there, and it's usually like a lot of cheers right away, and then there's like a 2-second kind of a gasp, and then they just boom before I even say a word. It's hilarious.
Oh, no. So how do you do that? I mean, that's got to be kind of like especially the first few times, it had to be kind of a shell shock.
Oh, gosh, the first couple of times it happened, I mean, to have 6,000 or 7,000 people yell at you like that, it kind of throws you. But then after a while, it kind of turns into, what's expected now. So now, between George and myself, the louder they boo me, the better the show really goes. So if I could turn them, they're a great crowd. Once they come around. So a lot of times I'll go backstage, he'll say, "Did they boo you?" I'm like, "Yeah." They'll be like, "Okay, great, it's gonna be a good show."
So he puts you out there like the canary in a coal mine, huh?
Exactly. They're like the worst / best crowd ever. So. It turns, thank God.
Well, it kind of like toughens you up and gets you ready for, pretty much anything then, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if you have that many people yelling at you and booing you at once, it doesn't. You don't get unraveled about too many things after that.
You can almost go to politics later.
Yeah, exactly. I might go into debating.
So how did you get started in comedy?
It's funny. I was always a goofy guy. And people would always tell me, I always wanted to do it, and people would say, "Hey, you should do comedy. You should do stand-up comedy." And it just sounds so unreal when you're not in the business. Like a stand-up comedy, like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that. But I always wanted to do it, and I didn't do it till late. I was in my late 20s, and then I really didn't get a good push till like my 30s when I just started. I was not doing very well in a job, and I just started doing open mics, and I thought I'd chase that dream for a little bit and just tell myself whether or teach myself how to do something. Like I'd never met a comic or anything, so I was terrible. Like for the first 100 shows, so it was one of those things where I just I don't know why I just kept beating my head up against the wall. But then by accident, things kind of turn around. Next thing you know, you're making your living at it. It's so strange.
Oh, that's wild. So you just keep practicing and practicing until you got it, huh?
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, you kept on going to clubs, and they'd hate you, and then you say something by accident, like, "Hey, he's not so bad." Next thing you know, you take one little slivery of, 15 minutes of funny, and it turns into 30 seconds, and the next thing you know, you got an hour. It's kind of strange how that works.
Oh wow! So do you get a lot of your material from like observations or?
Yeah, I'm kind of like I said, a lot of my humor is kind of deprecating, so it's I'm a goofy guy, and that's just kind of like my theme is mostly personal experiences mixed in with observations, and then I kind of get a crowd involved in it, so it's kind of a little mixture of those three elements.
Oh, that's cool. And so since you kind of
Yeah.
have that like self-deprecating thing, so them booing you is just kind of like just feeding into it, huh?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I go with them, not against them. I, in not so many ways, boo myself, so it's all okay.
Oh, that's cool. So so how did you get like when did you get your like get started with like Last Comic Standing and start kind of like gravitating towards like working for George Lopez?
Well, the George Lopez thing, I hadn't been doing stand-up for very long, and I broke into a club in San Francisco called the Punchline, and my first time in, they said, "Hey, congratulations, you're emceeing this week. You made it into the club." And they said, "You're really lucky. The headliner's a great headliner. It's George Lopez." And this was in 1998, I think, 99, a long, long time ago,
Wow.
and before he was a household name. And so we worked together, and he was a great club act. He filled rooms in the clubs all the time. And he said, "Hey, man, you're funny, and we seem to get along, so we'll definitely do this again." And I was thinking, "Oh, yeah, whatever. People tell you that here and there."
Hmm.
And sure enough, a month later, the Punchline people called me, and they said, "Hey, George Lopez requested you, of all people, to work with him in Sacramento." So we did 7 more shows in Sacramento, and we became friends. We've been friends ever since. And almost 11 years ago, we had kind of lost touch. He got a regular opening act, and he'd been working with him for 2 years, an exclusive opening act. And he was a great act, but they were going to, part ways for whatever reason. And we hadn't talked for a while, and I had moved to Denver from San Francisco, and he gave me a call. And this is what it said on my voicemail. It said, "Hey, Brian, it's George Lopez. Call me back. I'll change your life." And so I called them back, and they said, "Hey, can you still do that goofy stuff in a suit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can do that." And they said, "Okay, we'll see you in L.A. Next week." And so I did that show with him. It was my first like big theater show with him, and at the Universal Amphitheater at Universal Studios. And then I've been on the road with him almost every single week since. So that was in 2005. So quite a run.
Oh my goodness. So you've been racking up the miles with him.
Yeah, I mean, we've been everywhere. I mean, he's been such a great mentor. I mean, we're great friends, so it makes it easy to be on the road. And I mean, I've been all over the country, to say the least, in some of the biggest places, biggest arenas there are. And then I've gone overseas with them a few times, and it's just been amazing. What a run!
Oh wow. So where would you
Yeah.
any places that you haven't been to so far?
Not that I'd really like to. I guess the only place that I have not been to in the United States is probably the northeast area. I've not done Maine, New Hampshire, or Vermont, and I think those are the only states that I haven't done yet. So I'd love to get up there and just to scratch them off the list, I guess.
Right? It's just bucket list.
Yeah, exactly. Why not go all 50? I'm
Exactly.
47 in.
If you got the chance, why not?
Yeah, what the heck?
So I see that you've also had been on HBO and been on several television appearances and
Uh-huh.
stuff. What would you say would be like your favorite, being on the road or doing television or?
Oh, definitely on the road. I love doing clubs. Also, with the George, experience. I mean, it's great to be in front of, 10,000, 12,000, 18,000 people. That's an amazing, experience. But, I would never take those away. But my favorite thing to do is play in a club of about 250, 300 people. And it's really intimate. They can see you even thinking. You kind of tailor every show to that small little crowd. And it becomes really personal. They get a chance to learn a lot about the people in the room, and they learn a lot more about me, I think. So I love doing small rooms.
So the energy's different there, I bet.
Oh yeah, definitely different. And I mean, because they could see every expression you've got. I mean, when you're in front of a lot of people like that, I mean, there's a big jumbo screen, and there's that, but it's still not. I mean, it's still not the same as being that close to the person doing the stand up. And I truly believe stand up is a live medium. I mean, it's really hard to catch stand up comedy on TV or a 2-dimensional medium. I mean, like, stand up comedy is very live to me. Like if you don't really have guffaw laughs when you're watching stand ups on TV, but when you see them live, people just go crazy. I mean, it's just a completely different experience. So I love the live comedy clubs.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about there because I've seen comics on HBO specials and then had the chance to see them locally in some of the smaller
Hmm.
venues, and it really is a completely different experience than seeing them on TV. There's like just those random things that happen live in the moment and audience reactions
Yeah,
to things.
yeah, energy. I mean, when it's funny. You kind of catch lightning in a bottle in that little room for an hour, and it's really hard to show that on television. And I've made the mistake a million times when a good friend of mine or one of my favorite comics is going to be on TV. I'll tell all my friends to tune in, and 9 times out of 10, my friends will be like, "Hey, wasn't that funny?" You know what I mean? You're like, "Oh, well, if you saw him live, he's been going crazy." But that's the whole deal.
Yeah, because I mean, when you're in the audience, you're really kind of like it's almost like being in a party. It's kind of like
Yeah, oh yeah.
an exclusive experience there.
Yeah, and when you kind of when 300 or 200 or even 100 people are laughing alongside you, it's so much easier to laugh. I mean,
Yeah,
it just kind of makes you laugh.
yeah, it's a
It's a
shared moment.
completely different thing.
Yeah, it's a shared moment.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so cool. So, do you have you been? Because we're over here in the Tampa Bay area. Have you been to
Mhm.
any of our clubs around here that you can recall?
You know, not for a while. I did do the Funny Bone a while back. I've been to Tampa with George. She's probably 8 times in theaters around there. And so I love the area. My wife and I have gone there just vacationing before. And a long, long time ago, I had done some private shows there, and I took my wife with me, and we fell in love with the area. So you live in I'm envious of where you live.
Awesome. Well, I'm hoping that you guys get to come back because I'd love to see you in a live show. Um,
Oh, yeah.
in fact, if for our audience, do you wanted to let them know where they can follow you so they can find out when when you're going to be in the area and stuff?
Sure. I mean, you can look at me online. My website is www.bryankellan.com. That's Bryan, Bryan, Kellan, KELLEN.com. And my Twitter handle is actually Superboy Comedy for Twitter. And I'm on Facebook as well. Probably the best thing is to follow me on Twitter. I always announce everything. My website's a little under construction right now, so we're a little behind. But in a couple of weeks, we'll be back up. But if you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, then you'll get all the dates.
How did you end up with Superboy Comedy as your handle there?
That's a George Lopez thing. Years ago, when Twitter was new, he goes, "Hey man, you got to get on Twitter. We gotta get on a social network and tweet people and stuff." And now, I mean, he's got millions of followers, and he always called me Superboy for whatever reason. Many years ago, probably 15 years ago, he came up with his name. He called me Superboy, and so he actually had his buddy set my my account up, and it came back Superboy Comedy. And I'm like, well, that's not going to help me very much. Wouldn't it be great if it was like at Bryan Kellan so people would recognize it or find it? But it was his doing, so I kept it.
Well, that's cool. So, so aside from George Lopez, are there any other comedians that you would like to work with that you haven't had the chance to yet?
Not so much that I haven't had a chance to. There's a lot of comedians that I have had a chance to that I'd like to work with again. I am a huge fan of Brian Regan's work, and I've been very, very lucky to have worked with him a few times. He's one of my favorite comics. And also, on the other side of the spectrum is Dave Attell. I think he's one of the funniest people on the planet as well, and I've done a few weeks of work with him in the past, but not for a long time. So I'd love to. Those are two of my favorite guys I'd love to get a chance to work with.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you have
Oh, that'd
anything
be great.
coming up anytime soon?
I'm sorry.
Do you have any I'm sorry. Do you have any appearances coming up soon?
Well, I'm going to be actually in actually the LA area for the next few weeks, and in Northern California, I'm doing benefits and private shows. There's a club very close to where I live called the Ventura Harbor Comedy Club. I'll be there this Friday, and I'm mostly privates then, and then I'll be with George Lopez I guess probably the closest thing that's a big deal is we'll be doing Vegas at the Mirage Hotel the second week in April.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then we'll be at the LA Orpheum Theater the last week in April. It'll be the 29th, 30th, and 1st of May. So if anybody wants to do tickets, hit me up. I can hopefully get you in at least for free, or at least to make sure you have a ticket.
There we go. That always works, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I'll be at the Comedy Store tomorrow, so if anybody's around there, so
Ooh.
In Hollywood, yeah. So just if anybody's close by.
Yeah. Well, we do have some listeners from all the way out west there because we are online. So we kind of span the country here. So
Well, great. Well, hopefully they hit me up.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to, check out Bryan Kellan at bryankellan.com or at Superboy Comedy on Twitter. And thank you, Bryan, so much for speaking with us and calling into the show today. And it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks, Kat. I really had a good time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And I hope so much that, we get to hear from you again. So if you've got any updates or any new information you want to share with us, please feel free to contact us anytime.
Thanks so much. And if and when we, George and myself, or just myself, get close to the area, well, I'll make sure I'm in touch.
Awesome. That would be so great. Thank you so much.
Great. Have a great day.
You too.
Oh, bye, Kat.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Bryan Kellan, or as George Lopez on Twitter call him, Superboy Comedy. It sure was fun getting to know him today. Up next, here's a sample of Bryan on stage for your enjoyment.
He is one of the funniest guys I know. Please welcome to Lopez tonight, my good friend, Mr. Bryan Kellan.
All right, hi. Here we go. Look at all you guys. What a good-looking crowd you guys are. Beautiful crowd. Especially the women. Look at the women here. And, okay. I'm married. I'm actually married, so my wife's Hispanic. Aren't Latinas beautiful? Aren't they beautiful? She's hot. I don't know how I got her. She's like the stereotypical hot Latina babe, and I'm the stereotypical dorky-ass white dude. So our sex is like, quick. Are you ready? You ready? I'm done. How about that? She's probably the most passionate woman I've ever met in my life. She's very passionate. And every time we leave town, we always have the same speech we go through. I'm leaving, I got my bags in my hand. She jumps out. Are you leaving already? I'm not ready for you to leave. Right? 5 minutes passes. I can't wait till you're home. I miss you already. 5 more minutes passes. You cheat on me, I'll cut you, essay. And she's very cool. I don't know what she's doing with me. I'm kind of a dork. I'm spazzy. I'm even hyper when I'm sleeping. I'm one of those twitcher guys. Right? A little while ago, I hit my wife in the face. Right? I was sleeping and just one got away from him. Oh, no, that didn't sound good. Oh, man, that hurt my hand. I'm in trouble here. I'm just thinking, keep your eyes closed and pretend you're asleep. Maybe she'll forget about this in the morning. So I wait like 5 minutes. I got my eyes pinned shut, right? I hear nothing. And then I take a little peek. I see her at the foot of the bed going, oh, no. You know I'm going to get mine. Oh, you know. And I know you're awake. I just twitch. Well, twitch again, bitch. It's on now. A delicate little flower. I'm glad to be married, though. I don't have to chase women, right? I hated going to clubs, right? Because everybody's hammered there. I'm not good around drunk people. I can't tell the difference between a drunk person and a sober person. I went to a club once and walk up, this girl sitting in a bar stool. And she looks pretty cool to me. So I'm like, hey, would you like to dance? This girl says nothing to me. She just smiled. The hell kind of dance move is that? And then she couldn't stand up. It was like her head was too heavy. Like, here, get out. Don't help me. I got it. I can't. Oh, my God. I'm trying to stand. I cannot stand. Oh, I'm glad I picked her. She's a winner. Look at that one. That one's mine right there. I'm thinking, hang on a second. I still got a chance with this girl. Hang on. Just got to get her up before the 5-second rule kicks in. Right, there's she. It's never a good dancer either. If you're not a good dancer, don't ask your friends for help. They'll teach you screwed up dance moves on purpose. Right? I moved in with all black guys, right? And that was nice. So I fit in really well. They taught me screwed up dance, but I'm doing the best I can to fit in as a part of like, hey, B, bust that running man. Well, Lord, here you go. Come on. I'm glad I'm married, man. But if I wasn't, I'd never, ever, ever go to one of those computerized dating services. Because they set you up with your perfect match. Well, screw that. I don't want to see my perfect match. The guy at the dating service was like, well, after all the data we've taken, we've determined that you're pretty much a wiry guy with a long nose. So it says here, your perfect match is a pterodactyl. Come on out, Tanya. Say something, Tanya. Wait a minute, you're cutting down to see her dance yet. Watch it. You guys are great. Thanks a lot. God bless you. Good night.